Dad, how do I engage with my teenager daughter? Personal experience. Didn't have a great relationship with my mom growing up. Distanced myself further in high school, but saw her enough where it never really bothered how distant we truly were. Got to college and realized that I really do miss talking to her, and now we talk for an hour or two a week, and I visit home once every month or two. I agree with the other person that this is not something you can really push. She'll come around probably sooner rather than later. Just be a good dad. My dad's going through the same thing with my teenage siblings. I feel poorly for him. But he's learned to accept their indifference and go on solo hikes, walks. Maybe setting an expectation to have quality time together once a month. Like going to a restaurant and just chatting? And then letting them go their own way the rest of the time. I have 3 sisters. The youngest one is 17. I am twice as old as her. I'll tell you the same thing I told my stepmother. You don't. You wait till she's 22 and build a relationship then. Until that time, you're just embarrassing her by simply existing. Just keep being there. Sometimes I get better responses from my teens when we just send silly memes by text and Instagram. It's something all kids go through as part of preparing to be more on their own. She probably isn't even consciously doing it. I have had to advise my kid's dad that sometimes he really does have to meet them on their level. Kids don't talk on the phone anymore, just communicate with them how they want to communicate. I get better talks with my kids when we are driving. Something about not looking at each other while we talk helps. Woman shrugging. Everyone is embarrassed to hang with their parents from about 15-21-ish, then they become cool again. I'm not there, so I don't know how it is in your situation. But have you ever noticed that when someone continually pursues you and you never really get to feel like you've had enough time away from them without them coming towards you, that the feeling of needing to step back from them for a short time doesn't go away? Also, what you're feeling can be felt by others. If you're coming to her with that tense background feeling of her avoiding you and everything that means to you in your life, she's going to feel that in some way or another. It's going to feel different to her than if you truly didn't care if you talked to her but talked to her the same way otherwise. Good luck with it all. When I was a boy of 14, my father was so ignorant I could hardly stand to have the old man around. But when I got to be 21, I was astonished at how much the old man had learned in 7 years. Mark Twain. Have you ever tried saying what's in this post? Maybe worth asking over at our internet parents, our dad for a minute, and even our mom for a minute. Teenagers are tough cookies to crack. They've also got a lot going on with their lives and studies. They're still working out the world and themselves. I think it's pretty normal for them to be occupied, busy. Do you have a family WhatsApp group where everyone can drop a message? I had older parents growing up and I realized that it sounds weird. But at the end of the first Terminator film, Sarah Connor starts recording stuff on a dictaphone for John. There's obviously a mechanoid apocalypse looming in that situation. But I'd love to have had a journal or something with my parents' voices on later in life. Memories. Stuff about their past. Stuff about when I was little. Favorite songs. Funny memories, etc. So maybe slowly start to build up something for your daughter to digest later on in life. You just made me realize I might be doing this to my father. I am 17 to he does the same things you do. I think if you tell her, she will understand. She might not even be aware it's hurting your feelings. I was not aware until now. It's hard to say, there might just be incongruities in your personalities. I was in the opposite situation as you, a son to a single mom. Me with the driven and everything has to have a specific goal personality, and her with the relaxed and just along for the ride personality. As a teenager I hated it because I always wanted to engage and be involved in things, while my mom was perfectly happy to just lay around and relax. I never understood why we always went to the beach for vacation, when all she'd do while there was lay in the sun next to the water. Now that I'm older, that still sounds like absolute hell to me. But I have the perspective to understand that we're fundamentally different people. My mom's default state is tired, and she doesn't like to engage with anything more than absolutely necessary, while my default state is anxious, and I need to engage with things, so my German Shepherd-like brain doesn't make me want to chew holes in the couch. Figuratively speaking, it's hard to bring it up in conversation, especially as a parent to a child, because it feels like you're backhandedly calling your kid lazy when you ask them why they don't seem to be interested in anything. She may need some time to cultivate her own interests, but she may also just be the kind of person who is mostly extrinsically motivated. 25F. Here a lot of comments are saying to leave her alone and give her a couple years. I disagree. When I was 17 I treated my dad the same way, blew him off when he wanted to go get ice cream, play catch, play a game, go shopping, whatever. Fast forward 7 years. He's on hospice with Lewy body dementia. I would give anything in the entire world to go on one more ice cream date with him. I wish I could be more helpful to your current situation, but my suggestion is to make the most of the time you do have together. Hanging out at night, watching a movie, cooking a meal together, supporting her at her extracurricular activities, showing interest in her and her friends. Ask questions. Stay involved even when it seems like she doesn't want you to. She will remember it fondly down the line. I have daughters as well. My suggestion is to back off. Let her know you're there for her regularly, but at that age she needs her space. She'll re-engage in a year or two. Around 20 years old they tend to change and become more open to relationships with parents. Double down on the 80s music. Get her a record player and a bunch of vinyl. Make trips to the used record store together. As a formerly 17-year-old girl, give her space. I mean, be there when she needs it. Support her. Love her. Show interest in her interest. But teenagers want nothing to do with their parents. Not because they don't love you or care about you, but they're entering a time in their lives filled with change. They're figured themselves out. Giving them the space to do that safely, OFC, is the best thing you can do. As soon as I hit 21 and started living on my own, the only thing I craved was spending time with my parents. The time will come. I promise. Just be there. A lot of people saying it's normal. Give it a few years. And yeah, that's true. But that doesn't mean you stop trying now. Do your best to meet her where she is. But take her to do things you do, even if it's just errands. How about you lean into what she does have an interest in? Seems like you are throwing a lot of money about but little investment into what actually matters to her. What books does she read? Or what sports is she a fan of? What movies and TV shows? Immerse yourself in those things. Build your own passion and then approach her with a common interest. Something you can actually talk about with meaning. Stop the transactional nonsense. If she's still going with you on these trips you mention, beach, skiing, D&B, then that might be the extent of what she's willing to give you. She's 17. She could pretty easily just simply not go with you at all. So the fact she's even still going, even if she's rolling her eyes and not engaging and staring out of windows silently, is a positive. Teenagers are just like this sometimes. Keep doing what you're doing and by the time she hits 20 or so she'll come around. You're providing her with all you can and deep down she knows that. Give her space but reassure her that you are always available. I am going through this with a 16-year-old daughter. 58M. I love how much you care about her and want to have a great relationship with her. I would start leaving her notes. Like, I know you are a busy young woman with so much going on in your life. So I'm trying to give you space. But please don't forget your dad loves you and loves spending time with you too. Let me know when you have some time to do something together. Whatever sounds like fun to you. Just let me know. Then leave it. Give her a couple weeks and then every once in a while leave her a note that says, I love you and remember that I'm here for you if you ever need anything. Want to spend time together? Talk. Whatever. I'm here. Just don't give up. And don't pester frequently. Just like once a month. Sometimes just a, hope you are doing good. I love you. Quote.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Ericast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.